and welcome. Tonight, President Muhammadu Buhari thanks Nigerians for their show of love, says his extended leave is to allow him get more rest. Senate resumes for plenary to review outstanding letters from the President and the acting President on the President's leave, as well as confirmation of Justice Onoge as Chief Justice of Nigeria. Acting President Yemi Osinbajo says the federal government is committed to driving the economy through locally manufactured goods. And bodies of 87 Africans washed ashore in the Libyan city of Zawiya in the latest tragedy to hit the region.
And on business news tonight, Central Bank of Nigeria boosts forex market liquidity with $371 million.
In the world of sports, FIFA's president arrives in Johannesburg for a two-day summit with Africa's 54 member football associations.
And from Abuja, prosecution witness in the trial of Justice Adeni Ademola says the transfer of 30 million naira to his account by a lawyer cannot be described as a bribe.
And we begin tonight with the news that President Muhammadu Buhari says he needs more time to rest. According to a statement from the presidency, test results from his annual checkup shows that he needs a longer time away from work. The special advisor to the president on media and publicity, Femi Adesina, told State House correspondents that the president reassured Nigerians that there is no cause for alarm.
The president wants Nigerians to know that he appreciates their prayers, he appreciates their concerns, he appreciates their goodwill. And he has added that there is really no cause to worry. He is the one who owns the body, it's his body. And there's nobody who will know his body more than him. And he says no cause for worry. No cause to worry, rather.
Nigerians will be wondering now how long.
How long? No. You know that I speak for somebody. I don't speak for myself. So it is what he tells me to say that I say. And the statement transmitted to me is that the president needs to rest for some further time. So I can't say anything beyond that. What we have just said is what I would rather have us believe. The president says he needs to rest further. The same president that communicated that to us, when it is time for him to come, he will also communicate the date and the time he will come. The message I'm communicating is let us learn to believe our leaders. This was a man we elected into office, and he says, no cause to worry. Let's believe him.
This is the second time the president is extending his leave. The first was on February the 5th, 2017, when he informed the National Assembly that he needed extra 10 days to attend his health challenges. That letter was read on the floor of the Senate today by the President of Senate, Dr. Bukola Saraki, after the lawmakers resumed plenary. The Senate President also read a letter from the acting President, Yemi Osinbajo, on the appointment of Honorable Justice Walter Onoge as the Chief Justice of Nigeria. Our correspondent Linda Akigwe has more.
Plenary session resumes in the Senate after a 3-week break from legislative proceedings. The break was to allow lawmakers work on the 2017 budget proposals from various government ministries.
Dear distinguished Senate President,
Senate President Bukola Saraki begins the proceedings by reading some letters that President Buhari and acting President Yemi Osinbajo sent to the National Assembly during the break.
During my leave, I took the opportunity to have routine checkups and consult my long-standing doctors in London. In the course of the routine examinations, certain test results indicated the need for a course of medications and further appointments. Letter from the acting president dated 7th of February 2017. Appointment of Chief Justice of Nigeria. Following the recommendation of the National Judicial Council, I hereby notify you of the appointment of Honorable Justice Walter Samuel Nkanu Onoge, CFR, as Chief Justice of Nigeria.
He gets the letter which a fellow lawmaker wrote to the Senate.
Emmanuel Andiuba. to inform the Senate President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria of my decision to move my political allegiance from the People's Democratic Party to the All Progressive Congress. I declare I am now a card-carrying member of the All Progressive Congress.
We just heard your announcement of the purported defection of our dear brothers, distinguished Senator Andy Oba, and I would like to just save notice to the chambers that, again, that position belongs to the PDP, and it was PDP that contested the election in Anambra State, and want to save notice of our intention to go to court to reclaim that seat.
Senator Anduba is the fourth senator from the opposition People's Democratic Party to defect to another political party in the 8th Assembly. Linda Akibi, Channels Television News.
The acting president has affirmed the preparedness of the Buhari administration to provide an enabling environment for those who want to do business in Nigeria. In view of this, Professor Yemi Osinbajo has pledged fast tracking the entry and exit of persons and goods into Nigeria, as well as transparency and efficiency in government agencies. He was addressing the press after meeting with the President of Senate and the Speaker of the House of Assembly at an expanded meeting of the Presidential Enabling Business Environment Council in Abuja. Our State House correspondent Chukwuma Onwekusi reports.
A recent report by the World Bank places Nigeria on the 169th position out of 190 countries on its ease of doing business index for 2017.
The meeting today...
That negative report may have jolted the federal government, calling for the expanded meeting of the Presidential Enabling Business Environment Council, holding at the conference room of the Vice President.
There are some improvements which we expect to see at our ports, improvements at the airports, improvements at the seaports, and improvements in immigration, visas, granting of visas, and those kinds of things. So there are quite a few things that we've looked at and which we continue to look at. But we have we've set timelines for ourselves to ensure that we're not just speaking about these things without necessarily tying ourselves down to specific timelines. So we are looking forward to an improved business environment within the shortest possible time.
Nigeria's experience has not been palatable when it comes to issues of access to credit and other infrastructure problems. Therefore, the need to bring in National Assembly to collaborate with the executive.
Some of the issues about addressing enabling business environment are addressed through policies, but there's some that need legislation, and we'll be talking about what is our own responsibility there. And we've taken away today some of the bills that we need to address, particularly related to access to credit.
Experts call on the government to also learn to treat its citizens right by providing simple infrastructure such as electricity and good roads. Who knows, when the environment is right, Nigeria will, in the near future, rank among the top 10 leaders of the world like New Zealand and Singapore on the ease of doing business. For now, they say Nigeria's ranking leaves a lot to be desired. Chukwuma Onwekusi, Channels Television News.
Well, earlier in the day, the acting president was at a forum where he says the current economic realities in the country indicate that continued dependence on importation is not sustainable. He also reiterated the federal government's determination to drive the nation's economy with locally manufactured products. Professor Osinbajo was speaking at the 2017 National Productivity Day in Abuja.
The National Productivity Day in Nigeria is set aside by the federal government to promote local production of goods and services. It is a day to reward indigenous entrepreneurs who are contributing to the growth of the economy. At this year's Productivity Day, the acting president led a delegation of ministers to grace the occasion in Abuja. In his opening remarks, the Minister of Labour and Employment emphasizes the importance of the occasion.
The National Productivity Day is therefore a day we've set aside to demonstrate that high productivity is the bedrock of every economy. It is time to reflect on ways of energizing all sectors of the economy towards our goal of institutionalizing productivity, consciousness, and excellence in service.
15 individuals and 5 organizations receive awards from the federal government for their contributions to the nation's economy. The Minister of Solid Minerals states the importance of a reward system in encouraging local entrepreneurship.
We can only make progress and be productive when we stop celebrating criminals and brigands. Society can only develop and be productive when our reward systems are robust and effective.
The acting president, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, restates government's commitment to drive the economy with locally manufactured products. He also calls for the patronage of made-in-Nigeria goods.
Let me make a comment on the Made in Nigeria initiative, which has also been recognized here. As the President said in the 2017 budget speech, we must grow what we eat and we must use what we make.
The Nigerian economy has for long depended on crude oil, but with the global crash in the price of oil since 2015, the government says it's time to encourage local manufacturing.
The House of Representatives Committee on Internally Displaced Persons has queried the 2017 budget estimate of the Presidential Committee on North-East Initiative, particularly an item of 60 million naira for clearing trees. The chairman of the committee also pointed out other items needing clarification when the Presidential Committee appeared in the House to defend its budget. At the meeting of another committee, the Minister of Budget and National Planning, Senator Ododoma, explained government's plan on abandoned projects. Our correspondent Larry Lasisi has this report.
The Minister of Budget and National Planning and officials of the ministry here before the House Committee on National Planning and Economic Development to defend their 2017 budget. The minister gave a breakdown of the budget for the ministry. The chairman of the committee, however, had this observation, to which the minister responded.
So when this government comes with the issue of zero-based budgeting, we are all celebrating, we are all happy, thinking that all these abandoned projects we inhabited in our various constituencies, Suku has come, maybe that is the end of it. But a lot is not being done with regard to these abandoned projects.
We are working on that. We're working on that. Not every abandoned project requires to be revived. If the purpose of the project and all that was not well thought through, the impact is limited, the amount required to this thing, when you look at the returns and the results, and also whether does it fit into our strategic direction as a government.
The Vice Chairman of the Presidential Committee on Northeast Initiative faced a lot of questions when he appeared before the House Committee on Internally Displaced Persons.
I thought you will avoid controversies as much as possible, owing to what has happened to the case of pine removing this grass cutting business. Now, that number 2, you have clearing of trees and shrubs on Maiduguri Damboa Road, Maiduguri Bama, blah blah, at 60 million naira. I thought you shouldn't go that way. Don't travel that way at all.
The committee eventually resolved to look at the budget when more details are presented. Lanre Lasese, Channels Television News.
And statistics show that over 2,000 child soldiers were recruited and used in combat by the terrorist group Boko Haram in 2016. They were provided today by the United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, on the anniversary of the Paris commitments to end the use of children in conflict. UNICEF's Executive Director Anthony Lake says the exact data on the number of children used in armed conflict is difficult to ascertain because of the unlawful nature of the exercise. He, however, offered estimates that tens of thousands under the age of 18 are being used in conflicts worldwide. According to the UNICEF chief, we cannot give up the fight to end child recruitment. Adopted 10 years ago, the Paris commitments lay out guidelines for protecting children from recruitment by armed groups.